Hello everyone, myself Brahmjit Singh as Assistant Professor of School of Engineering in Civil Engineering Department of RIMT University. Today my topic is Introduction to Bridge Engineering. So we will discuss about the bridge engineering. So first of all, what is a bridge? So bridge is a structure which is built over some physical obstacle to overcome the obstacles such as body of water, valley, road, railway line, etc. So this is a structure with which the commuters can pass easily, and its structure to be strong enough to safety support its own weight as well as the weight of anything such as vehicles or passenger that should pass over it comfortably and easily. So in other words, we can say the bridge is a structure which maintains the communication over a physical obstacle of a channel, road, railway line, etc. So we designate the bridges in the various designation. So if it carries the road traffic or railway traffic or a pipeline over a channel or a valley, so we call it a bridge. So if it cross the roads or railways, then it is known as flyover, or we can say overbridge. And if the bridges are constructed of the several small spans constructed over a busy locality, valley, or dry land or wetland, then we call it the viaduct. So here are the components of bridge. We divide the bridge into the two parts. One is superstructure and other is the substructure. In the substructure means it is the underneath part of the topmost where the vehicles are commuting over it. So substructure it in substructure there are abutments, spires, bearings and foundation. So these are the parts of the substructure, and in the superstructure there is a deck, truss, girders, etc. Uh, on which the vehicles are moving. Okay, and uh, and deck is the slab where the vehicles are moving, and bearings are the parts uh, which are between the deck and the pier. So here is this is the simple example of the components of the bridges, and here we can say easily the we can elaborate easily this superstructure and the substructure. So here we can say piers on which the beams are withstanding the load of the superstructure, and then above the beam there are bearings. So main function of the bearings are to are to uh, to zero the moments, okay, to minimize the moments to avoid the crushing of the structure. So this is the part of the superstructure, and next we have the classification of bridges. So first of all, so bridges can be classified into three categories. We can classification on the basis of materials, structural forms, construction and function. Okay. So first of all, we will discuss about the classification according to the material. So here is the classification. So first is the timber, masonry, concrete and steel. So here is the example of the wooden bridge. We can say this bridge structure is the upper bridge. The superstructure is made up of the wood. So next is the masonry bridge. Masonry in which the bricks are used. Bricks and mortar are used to construct the bridges. So and here is the concrete bridge, in which the concrete bridges can be reinforced concrete or pre-stressed concrete bridges. And next is the steel. In this case, we can see that the whole structure is constructed of the steel material. So if we classify according to the structural forms, so here we have the type of the bridge and according to the span. So if we have to span up to 12 meter, then we select the a slab type bridge, deck slab. So why it is being called the deck slab? Because it acts as a one-way slab. Next, beam. If we have the we have to construct over the 10 to 30 meter bridge, then we call it the then we construct the beam bridges. And next, if we want to construct the about the 30 to 50 meter span, then then cantilever bridges are opted. And next, 18 to 30, then box cutter bridges are preferred. So next, if the span is 35 to 300 meter, then truss bridges are considered. Then if span is 20 to 5 up to 500 meter, then arch bridges are considered. And up to 350 meter span, cable stayed bridges. And up to 2000 meter, the suspension bridges are considered. This cable stayed, arch, truss and suspension bridges are also considered as the architectural point of view also. So next are the distinctive features of the slab bridges. So why we opt these type of bridges? So if we are opting slab bridges, we use these bridges are used only for the short spans, and they carry loads in shear and flexural bending. So and they have sufficient torsional stiffness because they have short spans, and they are overstiff, and their simple form work is required because they have shorter span and simple structure, and less skilled labor is also applicable to able to do its form work. And next are the features of the beam girder bridges. So these bridges are the oldest and most common type bridges known in from the past. If we consider the history of bridges, the beam girder bridges are mostly preferred, and they are usually for short and medium spans, and they also loads in shear and flexural bending. And in modern girder bridges, steel I beams replace the concrete beams. Okay, so but they have low torsional stiffness, so highly skilled labor is required to construct these kind of bridges. Next, the features of truss bridge, and they are truss bridges are, as we see the picture earlier of the steel bridge. They are made up of steel, and their primary member forces are axial load. Axial load means the loads which are acting on the axis of the member. So members are carefully designed to construct the truss bridge, and in this case the open web system permits the use of greater overall depth than for a equivalent solid web girder, and hence they reduce the deflections and they form the rigid structure. So both of these factors lead to the economy in material and a reduced dead weight, and increase in the depth also leads to the reduced deflections. That is a more rigid structure. Okay, so next, in this case, because of the steel material, so high maintenance and fabrication costs are required to regular inspection of the bridges. This steel material is should be regularly painted to maintain their material. So but they provide the aesthetic appearance. It is the debatable mainly because of the complexity of the elevation. Because of their complex structure, they provide the aesthetic appearance, and they are used economically in the span range up to 300 meter. So next are the features of the cantilever bridge. So these bridges can be of both material or steel or concrete. So in cantilever bridge, the roadway is constructed out from the pier in two directions at the same time, so that the weight on the both sides is counterbalance. Okay, so the larger section at the support to resist the negative moments. Okay, and next are the features of arch bridge. So arch action. So due to arch bridge, the picture we have seen in the masonry bridge, it is kind of the arch bridge. So in this arches, the arch action reduced the bending moments because they are constructed in to withstand the shear forces, and they are economical as compared to equivalent straight simply supported girder or truss bridge, and because of the construction in the compression form, so their lifespan is more than all the kinds of bridges. So they are suitable when site is deep, gorge, and with steepy rock banks. They are preferred in the form of arches, and they have conventional curved arch rib, has high fabrication and erection cost. But this is the least but not least. Conventional curved arch rib has high fabrication and erection cost. So they are considered as also the most beautiful type of the bridges, and they are used in the span range of up to 250 meters. So next are the features of suspension bridges. So the deck is hung from the cable by hangers. Okay, so what is deck? Deck is the slab where the vehicles are vehicle moves or the commuters moves. So this, in this case, the deck is hung from the cable with the help of cables by hanger constructed of the high strength ropes in the tension. So the arch bridges are constructed in the compression phase, and these suspension bridges are suspension, or we can say suspended bridges, are constructed in the tension phase. So cables are anchored at the abutments. So abutment has to be massive. We have to construct the massive abutments and piers. So the main cables is, in this case, the main cable is stiffened either by a pair of stiffening trusses or by a system of girders at the deck level, and this stiffening system serves to control the aerodynamic moments, the pressure of air or the movement of the vehicles. So in this case, these type of bridges need to have very strong main cables to withstand the structure about their considered lifespan. So the complete structure can be erected without intermediate staging from the ground. So and it is the only alternative for the span over 600 meters, and it is generally regarded as the competitive for spans down to 3000 meter. So the height of the main towers can be disadvantages in some areas, for example within the approach of road for an airport. So in this case we can consider the other type of bridges. So next are the features of cable stayed. So cable stayed bridges are using the pre-stressing principles. In this case we pre-stress the tendons of the steel. They are kind of the diameters of more than 50 mm. Steels are exposed outside of the beam. So all the in this case all the forces are transferred from the deck through the cables to the tower or the pylon. And roadway deck can be, in this case the roadway deck slab can be pre-stressed concrete box deck, steel box deck, steel truss deck, any other type. So next, as compared with the suspension bridge, the cables are straight rather than the curved. So therefore the stiffness is greater than the suspension bridges, and the cables are anchored to the deck and cause compressive forces. So the individual cables are shorter than the full length of the superstructure, and they are normally constructed of individual wire ropes supplied complete with the end fittings and pre-stretched and not spun. So in this case, aerodynamic stability has not been found to be a problem in this type of structure. So these bridges are economical over 200 to 500 meter of the spans. Next, construction and other functions. So if we are according to the interspan relations, so simple bridges are independent spans. They have in this case the large bending moment and shear forces are induced, but due to short spans they can withstand the larger bending moment and shear forces. In the continuous type of bridges, design moments are reduced and foundation supported on the good rock, or differential settlement of supports is the eliminated. Differential what is differential settlement? It is the unevenness in the settlement of the supports if in the supports of the bridges. So in case of the cantilever or balanced bridges, slight differential settlements under the pipe or abutment, and these are the not determinantal. So according to the duration and use of service, we can classify the bridges into two categories: permanent, temporary, or military. So permanent bridges are the we have discussed in the earlier slides, and temporary bridges are those which are constructed on the short channel or small channel, like wooden bridges or simple steel bridges of the very short spans. And the next type of bridges are military bridges. These bridges are constructed in the emergency conditions and constructed by the army or the military in the emergency conditions. So next are the we can classify the bridges according to the function. So first is the aqueduct. Aqueduct bridges are constructed to pass the channel, and viaduct are constructed over the to overcome the traffic of the roads, where we can avoid where the commuters can avoid the bridge avoid the city traffic. So in the pedestrian bridges, these bridges are constructed on the to cross the roads, to cross the highways, and they are also constructed on the railway tracks to move from one platform to other platforms. Next are the highway bridges. These highway bridges are used to construct over the to cross the heavy traffic areas. They are of high spans, they are of larger spans. Next are the railway or pipe bridges. They are constructed to cross the for the railway lines, to cross the trains, to cross the channels, or we can say channels or rivers. Next is the bridge design. So we can classify the bridge design into two types: hydraulic design and structural design. In structural design, we can design the bridge according to two parts, like we have learned earlier in earlier slides. One is superstructure and other is substructure. But in the case of hydraulic design, the water high flood level, score depth, clear waterway, etc., these conditions are considered before design the bridge in the to overcome the channel or river or canal. So for proper design, IRC 5 2015 bridge 15 IRC code is referred to design the hydraulic data of the bridges. So next is the selection of type of bridge and selection and of the bridge site, which type of bridge is suitable for the particular site. So next is the structural design. Structural design is recommended by the IRC code, IRC 6 and IRC 21. So next is the selection of a type of the bridge. So selection is the depends upon the span length, bridge length, beam spacing, material available. So in this case, what span is considered, what type of span is required to commute the passenger to overcome the obstacle. So on the basis of span and bridge length, the bridge type can be considered, and the beam spacing. If the span length is less, then less beam spacing is required, and if the span is high, span is larger span, then more beams are required. And material available, if the locally, according to the locally available material, so the bridge type can be selected. And next condition which are considered, the site conditions, like what type of foundation can be constructed, what type or what height can be considered, space constraints. So these are the basically constraints requirement for the shipping channel leads to long span bridges. And speed of construction, constructability means this skillness of the labor, and technology, and how the technology, what type of technology or equipments are available, or machinery is applicable, or machinery is available with the construction company. And aesthetics leads to the architecture of bridges. If the bridges are if the bridges are required, like to show the architectural point of view, then we can then the cable stayed bridges, cantilever bridges, or the suspension bridges are required for the proper aesthetics. And next is the cost. What is the budget of the government or a company to construct a bridge, and access for the maintenance. If the access for the maintenance, in this is also a constraint for the selection of the bridge. So next is the analysis between cost and span length. So the span length may be influenced by the cost of the superstructure. So it is considered as the cost per meter, and the substructure. So in substructure, the cost is considered as cost per pier. So if the substructure cost about 25% of the total cost, then shorter span bridges are more effective. So if the substructure cost is about 50% of the total cost, then the longer span of bridges are more economical. So next is the beam spacing. So beam spacing determine the number of the girders. If beam spacing is more, then less number of girders are required. If beam spacing is less, then first of all, large spacing. So few girders are less, and deeper and heavier girder can be required, but they are it should be kept in mind that they can be transported or not. If they are transported, then it is okay. If they are they can't be transported, then the deeper and heavier girders are constructed on site. And larger spacing reduced the redundancy of the bridge, and large spacing required the thicker slab, which leads to the high self weight or dead load of the slab. And next is the smaller spacing. If the small spacing is provided, then there is more requirement of the girders, small girders can be provided, more redundancy, but more beams to inspect. Okay, and thinner slab can be sufficient for the bridges, for the deck slab of the bridge. So next is the materials, classification on the according to material. So first is the steel bridges. If we are constructed steel, then we construct the steel bridges. In concrete, if we consider concrete to construct the bridges, so first cast in place or precast. So cast in place means, or we can say cast in situ girders. Those girders which are constructed on site, on the bridge site where the bridge is being constructed. So these girders are known as cast in situ or cast in place. And precast, those girders which are constructed in the factory, and later after the construction they are transported to the bridge site. And also the material choice depends on the cost of material at the bridge site and transportation or the shipping cost from the fabricators. It also a big constraint to be kept in mind while constructing the bridges. So next is the speed of construction. So in urban areas, the construction of bridge may be disrupt traffic, so that it may leads to the slow construction, and prefabricated precast member are only choice to increase the speed of the construction of the bridge. And substruction construction may disrupt traffic more than the superstructure, because in substructure we have to dig for the foundation. It may lead to the heavy traffic jams, and erection may consider longer spans. So next is the site requirement of the bridges. So first of all, first thing should be kept in mind, is the bridge is straight or it is curved. So if it is taking curves, then precast and I section girders cannot be curved. So segmental precast pre-stressed girders can have a slight curve, therefore they can be considered or selected. And cast in place, cast in situ or cast in place girders are considered, because these type of girders can be constructed according to the requirement of the site. And box girder is preferable for the curved site. Out of all the girders, or I girders or T girders, precast, cast in place, both can be easily constructed. So because in box girder bridges, this segment is divided into boxes. So then after that the boxes are joined, and deck slab is formed to complete the bridge. And transportation, shipping of prefabricated pieces to site. Next is the access for maintenance. How the maintenance is considered. The total cost. What is total cost? It is the initial cost, which is the considered at the time of construction, and plus maintenance cost. Maintenance cost is the cost considered year wise. And bridge should be made easy to inspect and maintain. Okay, and maintenance cost may govern the selection of the bridge. And in case of steel bridges, there needs a lot of maintenance in coastal regions, because of the humid environment, they got easily corroded. So the steel bridges needs a lot of maintenance. They have to be painted regularly at the shorter intervals of the time. In case of concrete bridges, they require the least type of maintenance. The maintenance is only required when there is some type of crack or deflection. Only then maintenance is required, but concrete bridges are required less maintenance. So aesthetic. Before construction, the aesthetics look may be considered in mind. So an ugly bridge is like simple span bridge is also safe, serviceable, and inexpensive, but it not a good bridge choice. Uh, a longer span bridge over a river can be a landmark in the area. So therefore, aesthetic should be an important factor while considering the type of bridge. So bridge should be blend with the environment, and it avoid we should avoid the unnecessary decorations while constructing the bridge, because unnecessary over decoration requires the over maintenance cost, which leads to the high budget. And bridge should have an appearance of an adequate strength, and determinant of the bridge's appearance in order of importance. So vertical and horizontal geometry relative to the surrounding topography and other structures, superstructure type, arch girder, etc. So pier placement, abutment placement. So these things affects the bridge appearance. Next, superstructure shape. What type of superstructure shape is considering parapet walls and railings, and pier shape, abutment shapes, and color, surface texture, ornamentations, signings, lightnings, and landscapings. These conditions are considered as the aesthetic point of view. So next is the selection of bridge site. Selection, how the bridge site is selected. First of all, first process is investigation of site and then planning. And before starting the design process of bridge, these factors are need to be considered. So need for the bridge and the type of traffic to which it will be subjected to, both present and the future, and various available alternatives, restrictions and constraints regarding the selection of site as well as a type of bridge. So next, soil and subsoil conditions for the different alternative sites, along with the stream conditions at the site. These are these things should be considered. If the soil conditions, if the soil is porous, then according to the soil is porous. If the soil is clay, then it leads to the selection of the foundation and type of the structure. And aesthetics and cost, these things are also likely to be involved while constructing the bridge and while selecting the type of bridge. And in urban areas, the designer is not provided with many alternatives because of the dense traffic. The most of the time the site is fixed, but in this case sometimes the shorter span bridges are considered because of the dense areas, and designed and planned keeping in view the only option available in this case. So here are the references for the present lecture. Thank you all.